Good evening, ladies. Tonight I'm going to show you how I color in my stamped images with my Copic markers. Practical Scrappers has asked me to do a tutorial, so please bear with me. This is my first one and I hope it can be of some use to you. I'm going to show you a couple of the techniques that I use, and the way that I've figured out how all this works is basically to look at other people's tutorials and to read a lot about these markers. So the colors I'm using tonight are E000, which is your pale fruit pink. I'm then going to use the Barely Beige, which is E11. I'm going to move on to use E01, which is your pink flamingo, and I'm going to use E00, the skin white, to blend it all in. A couple of the things that I've learned is, here's the images I'm going to be coloring tonight. This is Teacher Anya by the Greeting Farm. One of the best inks to use with Copic markers is your Memento, and I use the Tuxedo Black. This ink will not bleed with the Copic markers. The first thing that I did was I stamped my image onto my Prism paper. I like using the Prism paper. It tends to blend the markers in very, very well. Once I did that, I cut my image out and I prepared to color her in. One of the best tips that somebody gave me was to put a white piece of cardstock underneath the image that you're going to be coloring, because Copic markers will pick up any color that is underneath your image. And this can lead to having black marks on your skin tone, like the face and the arms and that. So I'm going to start now showing you how I color my girls. So I take my my E000, my pale fruit pink, and I go over the entire surface. And I like to go in circles for the faces. And I just keep doing that until I've got an even layer. It doesn't have to be perfect at this point because you're going to be doing some more blending later on. So I've got the first layer down. I'm going to move on to my E11. And what I do with this is I start to trace her face around the areas where I want it to be the darkest. And as you've noticed, one of the things that I did first was I used the lighter tone first, and I'm moving on to the darker. So once I've done that, I take my E01, which is my pink flamingo, and I go over top with what I just did, a little bit out of the lines there. And once again, this point, it doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to be blending near the end. My last step is to take my E00, which is my skin white, and this is going to blend it all together. And so what I do is I do circles to pick up the ink, the darker ink, and to blend it in with the lighter ink. So as you can see, great thing about Copics is that they blend very well. Now anywhere areas you want it to be a little bit darker, all you do is keep going over that, and it will. Copic markers will layer quite well. And I'll get different shades. So that's her face. I then go back and do the same thing with any areas that are skin. As you can see there, I just went over her socks, but that's okay because I'll be using a darker marker later on, and you won't even see the skin tone underneath. And I just blend that all in. So that's how I color in my stamped images with the skin tones. And if you want to see a final card, this is what she looks like when she's all colored in. So all I can suggest is keep practicing. Every time I use my Copics I get a little bit better, And if you have a chance to watch anybody's tutorial, I really suggest you do, because I've found a lot of helpful tips and hints from the wonderful ladies that blog and show us their techniques. Hope this was helpful, and thanks very much for watching.